The GT America powered by AWS season that began in February on the streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, comes to an end today in the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Earlier this weekend, GT3 champion-elect George Kurtz scored his 9th win of the 2022 campaign, while Ross Schwest's victory drew him within 4 points of GT4 championship leader Jason Bell. Hello and welcome to what's shaping up to be a dramatic conclusion of the GT America powered by AWS Championship. My name is Ryan Marine. Calvin Fish is alongside and Amanda Busick is in the pit lane. A chilly morning in the state of Indiana's capital, Indianapolis, but no clouds in the sky and the cars are gridded up as we're about to turn them loose for the final race of the 2022 season. Down amongst the cars on the pit lane, as mentioned, is our Amanda Busick. Good morning, Amanda.
Well, I know we've been talking about the chill here in Indianapolis, but I can confirm today is the coldest here this morning. It was 38 degrees when we stepped out here on pit lane. You can see your breath, so you know that that's pretty cold, but it comes down to I'm standing in front of the GT4 class for a reason. With 10 different winners here this year, it's going to come down to the last race of the season on who's going to win this race. Not in contention on the front row, you have Gray Newell and Seth Lucas. Seth actually competed in the Indy 8-hour yesterday, won in their class and went to McDonald's afterwards with his friends to celebrate. Said he's just a little bit tired this morning, but the big clash is going to be a little bit back here on row number 2. Guys, look at this. Ross Schwest, Jason Bell, this is what you want on a season finale race. Those guys are going to be going at it, but I did talk to Adam Adelson this morning. He's 2 rows back, and he said, I'm just going to let those guys go for it and go all around it. That's my plan here today, Amanda.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the update. It's shaping up to be a dramatic finale, as mentioned, for the GT4 class, Calvin. Cool temperatures, hot action on the racetrack.
Very much so, and talk about hot, as Amanda alluded to, 10 different winners now, and Ross Schwest claimed that first victory here on Friday and has thrown himself right into this championship battle. He sits only 4 points back of Jason Bell now, so there's lots to play for. They line up side by side on the grid on row 2, so this is going to be tense. It's going to be fraught. Surviving these early corners, early laps with these very cool conditions. It's so easy to make a little mistake, lock up a wheel, and run a little bit wide there as you get through those initial corners.
And Amanda brings up Adam Adelson. He too is in the hunt, 15 points back behind Jason Bell. Ross Schwest, again, 4 points behind in the second spot. In the GT3 ranks, it's all over at this stage as far as the championship is concerned. George Kurtz wrapped that up a couple of weeks ago at Sebring, but his motivation certainly is not lacking. He went out and dominated the race yesterday.
He did. 9th win of the year. He's looking for 10 here today, but took him a while to get going here the other day, but he certainly got it done at the end of the day. It's been a brilliant season for the CrowdStrike entry and George behind the wheel, but there's a nice little battle brewing for 3rd in the points, and everyone wants to be in that top 3. Right now, Mirko Schultes has it by 7 points over Jason Harwood, who's been very much on form this season, and he, like Seth Lucas, they were teamed together yesterday, had that brilliant win in the 8-hour in the AM class.
And their other teammate also is in this field, Jason Daskalos, and Jason Daskalos is set to start from the 5th position in the GT3 class. In amongst the GT3 cars is CJ Moses in the lone GT2 car in the field. And good to have CJ and that Audi back on the grid. He's on a partial schedule in 2022. Let's talk about the track, Calvin. 2.44 miles, 14 turns. An infield road course, pretty flat, but you do have the banking to deal with in a couple of places and 2 very long straightaways.
You do. Straightaways are key here because it leads into the 2 prime overtaking opportunities at the end of those down into turn 1 and down into turn 7 where you can make a move. But this tight, twisty stuff is very technical. How you use the curb and just try and hug those and get the car to rotate a little bit is really a key to being disciplined here and not trying to overcharge the corners. So easy to get behind, and if you rush through one corner, you're behind for the next, and that's where someone can pounce and make a move on you as you exit that sequence of turns.
No tire warmers in GT America powered by AWS. That's typically not a huge storyline, but when temperatures are as brisk as they are this morning, that's something to keep an eye on as we head into turn 1 for the first time in 1 lap from now. Starting grid for you, the champion-elect in GT3, George Kurtz, will start on pole. Jeff Burton alongside. He was 2nd in points 1 year ago. Mirko Schultes trying to hang on to that 3rd spot in points will start 3rd. Kyle Washington, who was in the Indy 8-hour, finished just off the class podium. He'll start 4th. Daskelos class winner in the 8-hour last night. Starts 5th. Jason Harward, his teammate in that race, alongside CJ Moses and Andy Pilgrim, the veteran. Missed the race yesterday. They had some damage from contact earlier in the weekend. They've got that repaired. He should be good to go in that Ferrari 458 GT3. To the GT4 field, Gray Newell on the pole. It's been a great comeback from him after missing the Sebring race weekend, and Seth Lucas, the third member of that Zalus team that won the 8-hour in the AM class yesterday, he starts in 2nd. Schwest and Bell in that crucial row number 2, the 2 championship protagonists. They will start side by side. Custodio Toledo and Todd Coleman in row 3. Moisey Uretsky, Scott Noble in row 4. Rob Holland and Adam Adelson, who has an outside shot at the title. They'll start alongside one another. The rest of the field, Jay Logan, Nick Shanny, and Tom Capizzi at the back of this field of 25 cars, mixed between 3 different classes, GT3, GT2, and GT4.
Looks like Howard has made the move back to his Lamborghini Huracan for today's race. He ran the Audi on the first race here this weekend just to save that car that competed in the Indy 8-hour yesterday. So a quick turnaround for that machine with a late finish on the previous evening here.
That's right, finishing under the lights last night, 8 o'clock local time, the latest a race has ever run at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it was a dramatic one. We expect something similar in GT America, powered by AWS. The season finale about to get underway. George Kurtz in the Mercedes to the top of the screen. That's the pole sitter. Jeff Burton in the Lamborghini. He too, both of them in fact, ran at the 8-hour yesterday. They make up row 1. Mirko Schultes in the Callaway Corvette starts 3rd. And alongside is Kyle Washington in the GMG Porsche. Kurtz taking them at a leisurely pace into the VP acceleration zone. Now he punches it, accelerates away. He'll consolidate that lead from pole, side by side for 3rd. Schultes to the inside, Washington to the outside.
See Jeff Burton there just trying to hound George as we look at the GT4 start now.
Gray Newell in the heart of racing. Aston accelerates away and gets ahead of the outside front row starter, Seth Lucas. Schwest has the early edge on Bell. This is the championship battle. Couple of Astons. Bell slots in right behind as Schwest takes a peek up the inside of Lucas.
Look at Adelson though, and around the outside, and he jumps inside of Bell there. So Bell pretty tentative there into the brake zone. Tried to slide in behind Ross Schwest, and he loses position immediately. Look at Adelson on the charge. He's up to 2nd.
He came from the 5th row of the GT4 grid. Washington has his spin. That's going to be just up the road of these guys. It's Newell leading. Adelson has jumped to 2nd on the initial start, and right behind him, Ross Schwest running 3rd. Seth Lucas is 4th. Here comes Bell. He knows he needs to go if he's going to win this title for a 2nd straight year. He peeks to the outside, which opens the door to the inside. Custodio Toledo pokes the nose through. Can't make the pass. Bell slips to the inside of Lucas, who appears to be off rhythm.
He does, trying to get reacclimated with that GT4 machinery after finishing up in that GT3 car. But look at this, Adelson to the lead, side by side with Gray Newell. Very tight here. They come through that sweeper. Schwest just waiting to see what happens there as we're heading down towards turn 12. Tires still not up to temperature or pressure just yet. Adelson, what a first lap he's put together here.
Unbelievable. Started 10th at the end of lap 1. It looks like he'll be in the lead. Gray Newell slots back in 2nd. Schwest got shoved wide, and here comes Jason Bell. He knows he's got to go.
He does. He's got to either finish right behind Schwest as he runs there. He's got a 4-point lead. It's going to be tight dependent on their finishing positions. There's bigger deltas in the top spots, of course. 7-point swing at the top between 1st and 2nd.
Lucas has slipped back in a big way. Started outside the front row. He is well back in the order now, and looks like he's about to lose another spot to Toledo.
Toledo gets really wide there through turn 1. I'm not sure if he's able to keep it together. Yes, he does. He managed to keep that position in front of Seth Lucas. So a little lock up by Jason Bell there into the turn 1 brake zone. He may need to make a little brake bias adjustment on that Aston Martin. That Premier Racing team, what a setup they put underneath Adelson. His car just came alive in these very cool conditions here.
It's amazing. He told Amanda, I'm just going to hang back and let the top 2 guys duke it out, maybe take each other out. Instead, it was full go at the start. So much for that pre-race plan.
George Kurtz here looking pretty comfortable. Was not happy yesterday. Really couldn't get to grips with his race car yesterday. Had a lot of pickup issues. Today looks to be much more into his rhythm early. Burton is hanging with him initially. Mirko sits there in the 3rd position, ahead of Jason Harwood aboard that Lamborghini once again. Ran the Audi in race 1 here this weekend.
And for Kurtz, this has to be cathartic just to get back behind the wheel. Such frustration in the 8-hour yesterday. Came in with a chance to win the Pro-Am Championship. That car suffered some damage and was well down the order. Ultimately lost out to the Racer's Edge tandem, but back in the saddle. Already a champion here in GT America this year.
Harwood is looking racy here. Really carving some nice lines there. We talked about his race car has really come on strong here as the season has progressed. Hounding Mirko here. They head down the Holman Boulevard here, down towards turn 7. Burton is hanging with Kurtz here in the early going. Battle behind them between Daskalos and Pilgrim.
Looks like Pilgrim to the inside into the brake zone, and in the background you could see that red Ferrari making it through and up one more spot. This fight though here between Schultes and Daskalos, that is the fight between the 3rd and 4th place drivers in the points. 3rd place is still up in the air. Schultes has the edge though coming into the weekend.
Daskalos has got some work to do. Has been dropped down to the 6th position right now. Looking at Harwood there aboard the Zalus Lamborghini. Pilgrim, as you can see, has got by Daskalos for that move down into turn 7 and has created a bit of a gap very quickly. That great victory at Road America.
Back to GT4, Adelson to the point. With an amazing start from 10th to the lead in a single lap. Hope he's got an onboard of that. That must have been dramatic, and he's pulled out a sizable advantage over Gray Newell, who now runs in the 2nd spot, some 1.5 seconds adrift. Schwest there in 3rd, Bell in 4th, but for Bell, this would be good enough.
It would have. Quick lock up there. That was not good. Locked up that inside right. Thought we had some rear bias lock-up earlier in the race, and maybe too big of adjustment on that race car. Now, as they sit right now, Jason is okay. It's a 3-point delta between 3rd and 4th. But if Schwest was to get by Gray Newell, that would give him the edge in the championship. So Jason's got to get on the horse. See a car off and on. I think that's CJ Moses.
That's the lone GT2 car in the field. Light on downforce. The GT2 machine's a ton of horsepower. Maybe not the best combination for these cold temperatures, but looks like CJ's able to continue on.
Adelson came into this race with the drop scores. There's a dropped event that you can have this year in GT4 America, and with the drop scores, he comes in 15 points behind Jason Bell. And there's a big point delta, so Jason, if Adelson would win, would need to finish in the top 4 where he sits right now. If he finished 5th, they would tie. And Adelson would have the tiebreaker on the back of 3 wins if he gets it here today.
Amazing, this season that started so many months ago in St. Petersburg.
Well, one position right now will change everything for Schwest if he can get by Newell. If Bell was to drop back a position, lots to play out here in the next 33 minutes.
Single driver format in GT America, powered by AWS. In the back of the shot, Kyle Washington coming back through the field after his spin early in the going. 7th placed car in the GT3 ranks. Coming up on GMG Racing stablemate Jay Logan, who's embroiled in a big battle right here with Tom Capizzi, 10th and 11th. Tom telling us that these cool conditions have not been great putting the power down in that BMW M4. It's been a struggle for him this weekend.
Adelson seems like he's backing up a little bit to Gray Newell and Ross Schwest. He has to win here. He has to max out the points to have a shot at this title. And Jason Bell, he has to maintain that 4th position. He cannot afford to let Toledo get by him, and he cannot afford to let Schwest get by Newell. Not much he can do about that up in front, but he can control his own destiny in terms of maintaining this P4 position.
This goes to show the amount of improvement we've seen out of Custodio Toledo. This is his first season racing at this level. Early in the year, he tended to be towards the back, but we've seen him coming on strong in recent weeks, especially here at Indianapolis. Had a really good chance had a victory in the AM class in Pirelli GT4 America yesterday. Lost it on the final lap. No fault of his own. It was not him in the car there on that final stint, but dramatic, dramatic stuff.
Look at Newell. He's got a big draft here down the front straightaway. Looks to the inside. Adelson hangs tough. Swings back across and claims the apex.
Oh, Toledo to the inside of Bell. That is huge.
He's
Does he get it wound
again.
up? That lets Bell back to the outside, but Toledo, it looks like, will consolidate that position.
Right there, that would give the championship to Adelson as they run. Crazy.
Speaking of Adelson, Amanda has more.
That is exactly what is on his mind. He knew he came into this race 15 points behind from the adjusted total to Jason Bell. And I was just talking to his team about that incredible start he had this morning. They said, we go over starts of races almost every day. But he said, that's Adam being Adam. And you think of the season that Adam has had, just the development that we've seen over him the last 2 seasons, this would be the perfect punctuation on that driver growth and confidence that we've seen from him this season.
No doubt about that. And he would have had a better shot at the title if not for contact yesterday, correct? As we look at a replay here, this is Logan and Coleman side by side into one with Capizzi as an interested spectator.
Feisty little battle. Yeah, I mean, so many of these drivers can say the what ifs. What if this hadn't happened? I'd be in great championship contention. But the thing is, it all comes down to the why. And the big problem he's got is that Gray Newell's car is looking really racy. He's got a bit more straightaway speed here. Adelson immediately goes defensive, claims that inside line. And you're just hoping that Gray Newell is patient enough here. He sits back, thinks about going down to the inside. Tyre should be fully up to temp now. He should have good grip. Still very mild conditions here in the low 40-degree range. Looks to the inside. He's getting really close to that moment where if he hits him right at that critical phase of a corner, he's going to turn him around. And for Adelson, even if he gets a penalty for having contact with Adelson, that doesn't help Adelson out if he's on the side of the road.
Newell needs to know the level of desperation in the cockpit of that Porsche. Adelson must stay in front to have a chance at the title. Newell has to take that into account. He tries to run the outside. This brings Schwest into the mix. Top 3 in GT4, nose to tail.
This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Right now, Schwest is in great shape here, sitting in that 3rd position. He's got the points buffer that he needs over Jason Bell. He came in 4 behind. He's got a 5-point delta right now as they run. It is so nip and tuck between the 3 championship contenders right now. One position will change their day and change their world in terms of the championship. Yesterday,
Ross Schwest drove the race of his life, held off Seth Lucas for the bulk of the event. His coach, co-driver, and team manager Aaron Povolito said, I am so proud of him, and for good reason. It was a dramatic first win of the season for Ross Schwest and put him in this position where he could consider racing for a championship.
Well, his team needs to make sure he's aware of the big picture right now, because the way I work out the points, Schwest would have it by 1 point. It'd be a tie for 2nd between Adelson and Jason Bell, with Adelson having the tiebreaker. So Schwest is in great shape, sitting there in P3. Perfect position. He's got no pressure from behind. Toledo's quite some way back. Just don't get wrapped up in trying to make a move on Gray Newell and getting it wrong.
Moise Uretsky in that yellow Aston starting to turn some quick laps. He's up to 6th, and that could spell even more trouble for Jason Bell, who's looking to repeat his feat from Indy 1 year ago.
He'll be so frustrated. I saw him when I got off the airplane getting into Indy here the other night. He had a lot of confidence. He said, I'm going to make this happen here. He said the car should be good here at Indianapolis, but right now this day is not looking great for him the way they run. It's super tight. 3 drivers potentially only going to be separated by a single point, but right now he's on the back end of that. Schwest has dropped back a little bit. Maybe he's got that message. Everything is looking great. Just sit where you sit. That's enough to claim the championship.
George Kurtz leading overall. Just over a second. Jeff Burton has fought on gamely. been able to keep pace. These two have sparred in various championships a number of times. Burton a little bit wide there, though, as he continues to push, seeking a win and seeking to deprive George Kurtz of a 10th win in this 2022 season.
Issues for Jason Howard. I think he's hit pit lane. He's 3 laps down, or being shown 4 laps down now. So Pilgrim's the man on the move. Just laid the fastest lap of the race. He's up to P4. Just a couple of seconds back of Mirko Schultes. You can see it now in that picture as they come down the front straightaway into turn 1. A great rebound for this group to claim a podium here, and it's definitely on the cards with the pace that Andy is showing right now.
Crown Strike, fastest lap of the race, as Cal said, for Andy Pilgrim, longtime GM factory driver. Many years in Corvettes. Of course, he's chasing a Corvette right now.
A yellow one at that.
That's right. Also in the Cadillac program in World Challenge. Continues to be tight at the front of the GT4 field. Adelson, Newell, Schwest, and we've got the GT3 car of Washington starting to come through. Caught this group at an advantageous spot, though. Should make the pass easily down the straightaway and not interfere too much with the battle for the lead.
Does this open up the door? Graynor looks to the inside. This is going to be tight there as they try to claim the apex. Nice job by Adelson, just opening up his hands a little bit, giving Gray some racing room there so he didn't get bumped.
Custodio Toledo might be slowly reeling in Ross Schwest. That would add an extra twist of drama to the equation. And Adelson just a little bit wider through the chicane. Does Newell have enough horsepower down the straight in that Aston to make a run at him into turn 7?
He's definitely got the quicker car right now. He's just trying to figure out a solution to this puzzle right now in terms of where he can make a move without having any contact with him. It's so tight and twisty through this section, and when a driver's really thinking ahead and playing the chess match of positioning his car, it makes it really difficult for the car trying to make a move from behind, and Adelson's doing that perfectly right now.
Once again, if you're just joining us, the GT3 Championship was settled 2 weeks ago at Sebring. George Kurtz, who leads, is the champion for 2022, seeking his 10th win of the season here at IMS this weekend. But GT4 hangs in the balance. 3 cars entered with a mathematical chance. Right now, as Toledo kicks up some dust, right now, Ross Schwest in 3rd would have enough points to win the championship, but Adelson, by virtue of taking the lead, storming from 10th to 1st on the opening lap, puts himself into the equation, and Jason Bell is still there. He runs 5th at the moment, but a lot can change in the remaining 23 minutes.
It really can. For Jason Bell, he does not like to see Schwest sitting there so comfortable, not under any pressure. Jason Bell needs Toledo to go chase him down. He needs him to wrestle that 3rd position away and reduce that points margin.
Well, he is making progress, about 0.2 of a second on the last lap. Toledo to Schwest. The gap is 1.6. Does look like that Conquest Mercedes is closing in.
Bell is starting to show a little bit more pace here as the race is wearing on. Maybe the car's just starting to come to life. He's starting to feel it a little bit more as these temperatures are rising. He's got to get up there. He's got to get by Toledo. That would give him the championship point lead back.
And he can't get passed by Uretsky or Lucas. And look, they have closed in on Jason Bell too.
Everyone's starting to find that rhythm, starting to find the grip. Track temperature will be gradually inching up here during the course of this 40-minute sprint race. Almost halfway. Gray Newell again picking up the draft of that Porsche. The Aston looks really, really menacing right now. I think if he gets by Adelson, he'll just take off. I think there's another 3 or 4 tenths that he's got to play with there, but he just can't showcase that speed just yet. Good battle here between Uretsky and Lucas for P6.
It's music to the ears of Bell. Let these two duke it out behind him, give him some more breathing room, at least buy him a few more minutes.
Bell needs to get to Toledo, put some pressure on him. He's got to dig deep now, Jason Bell. He's got to go chase down that Mercedes.
That Supra is starting to come to life here for Lucas. This is a late lunge. Not close enough. Uretsky gives him just enough room. Strange to see Lucas drop back like he did at the start. I wonder if there might have been some kind of problem he was dealing with, because he was supposed to start on the outside of the front row. I think he dropped 7 spots on the opening lap.
It's such an adjustment, though, from that GT3 machine that he was driving yesterday. I mean, he's only 16 years old. He doesn't have a ton of experience. So that may have been some of that, just getting his braking points back together and getting into the rhythm of that high downforce car. Newell trying to set up here to get on this front straightaway.
Subject to drivers without much experience. Adam Adelson.
Oh, he's got a big run. He's got a big run on him.
He does.
This is the best run he's had all day. What does he do with Adelson? Claims that inside lane. Doing a perfect job here. Newell to the outside. There's more grip right now. Adelson just needs to slow it down enough. Maintain the line. Don't open up the door exit. Nice job.
Adelson did a partial schedule of Pirelli GT4 America last year, and that's about the extent of his racing experience at the pro level. Driving like a veteran here under duress.
I would assume that his teammate in Sprint X competition, Elliott Skier, is on the horn to him, on the radio, talking him through what to do. And look at the backdrop. Jason Bell is right with Toledo. This is monster right now for the championship. If you want the title, Jason, get by this Mercedes and you'll have enough points.
Bell swings to the outside. Toledo late on the brakes, but can he get it woe down? Does it open the door to crossover? Yes, it does. Overall leader coming through at the same time. Bell up 1 more spot with massive implications for the championship.
That puts him in position to claim the title as they run. Kurtz down to the inside. Jason gives him the lane.
All right, so now the pressure shifts back to Ross West. Now he needs to go get 1 more spot.
He does, but Gray Newell has pace, so this changes it completely, the complexion for Ross West. Jason Bell has come alive. He's now got to go and claim some more points there at the front end of this field for Ross West.
Jeff Burton now coming through the GT4 traffic, and Adelson coming under pressure again. Here comes Gray Newell. He's there in the slipstream, peaks to the outside. Again, Adelson guarding the inside line jealously. Down to the apex they go, and again, Newell just can't quite carry enough speed to draw alongside.
He's doing a really nice job. Let's not forget, for Gray Newell, he does not have a ton of seat time. Only
Neither
a
of
couple
them.
of years pro racing, so he's doing a really nice job here. Both of them are in terms of their racecraft. Adelson right now so poised. Just controlling this race with a car that doesn't look quite as quick as the Aston Martin.
To your point, look at the top 3. None of these guys have been at this very long, and yet when the pressure is at its highest, it's amazing to see just how poised they've been.
Well, I think we've just seen all of these drivers really develop throughout the course of this 2022 season. Jason Bell has escaped the clutches of Toledo. He's in a really nice position.
Looked like pushed out wide. Newell had his hands full there. Will that bring Schwest into the mix again? Has the message been delivered to Ross? You've got to push. You're no longer in position to clinch the championship.
Just like Jason Bell, the title is right in front of you. You claim that position from Gray Newell, the championship will be yours.
Schultes has been caught by Pilgrim. That is for the final step of the podium in the GT3 class. Schultes, I believe, running 3rd. There's 2 on the windshield. In fact, Burton must have had a problem.
Yeah, Burton's dropped back.
Okay, so now it's 2nd and 3rd up for grabs. Burton coming through in the background. Lucas now working on Toledo.
Soon Burton must have had a slight off for a moment here. Dropped 2 positions. See a lot of dust on the right-hand side of the car, it looks like, from that shot. Could have been just the sunlight catching it here early in the morning. Jason Bell in a great position unless Schwest somehow gets around Newell.
Or
there's nothing he can do.
Or if Seth Lucas tracks him down. There's so many ways this can all change here in the final 17.5 minutes of this season.
Seth Lucas quite a ways back though. Got a lot of work to do if he's going to catch up to Jason Bell.
Pilgrim driving for the Ski Autosport team. Great addition to the grid this year. This older generation Ferrari 458. It's about to be a few generations old with the new 296 coming next year, replacing the 488. Schultes up the inside of Newell. Pilgrim will look to follow him through.
Just gap this top three. Suddenly there's a bigger delta between the top three right now. It's taking the pressure off Adelson. But right now, even if Adelson wins this race, it's not going to be enough with the position of both Schwest and Jason Bell. Both cars being in the top four.
More on Ross now with Amanda.
Well, you can see the team there looking over every opportunity and options that might be available to Ross Schwest, because they know that Jason Bell now has the points lead in this championship. I talked to him about what Schwest's plan could be at this point, and he said, Amanda, I think all the cars out there right now are just having the drive of their life right now, trying to figure out who's going to win this GT4 championship.
Sure looks that way. Promise to drama. And these guys have delivered. In the background, there's Bell. Behind him, Lucas. That's the other contingency that is in play. Lucas has been quick. He was faster than Bell on the last lap by 0.2 of a second and had some traffic to deal with on that lap too. Meanwhile, Schwest is losing ground on Gray Newell.
Yeah, those GT3 cars coming through have really gapped everyone at the front here, so everyone's just got to regroup here. See Burton nearly dropping a wheel there coming through turn 12. Schwest, what does he have here? How deep can he dig? Try and find some performance here in the last 15 minutes and catch the other Aston Martin in front of him.
Right now, third on the road, only second in the points as they run. Jason Bell, fourth on the road. He would have just enough points to get the job done. Adam Adelson doing everything in his power by leading this race, but it might not be enough. Once again, picking up this duel. Mirko Schultes, Andy Pilgrim, both of them with a lot of GM experience. Mirko Schultes, a Chevy aficionado despite hailing from Freiburg, Germany. Just about everything he's ever raced has been GM powered over the course of his career.
Love his passion. He almost loves being the underdog a little bit. Small team, but they do a lot with it. They really do. It's great to see how they keep digging and grinding, even on weekends where they've had some technical issues. They figure out a way to be out there. And Mirko is so consistent, always puts in a great show. Typically gets faster as the races progress. But up front, Kurtz has a handy 7-second lead, looking for win number 10 on the season.
More on Andy Pilgrim. Amanda, what have you learned?
Well, I was walking the pits. I was talking to the ski team about this Ferrari. There was a little contact with Kyle Washington that he had this week, and there was a part that they needed for this Ferrari to get it back into operation here today, and they just simply couldn't find one. Well, GMG felt so bad about the contact, specifically Kyle Washington, that they actually hand-delivered the part over to this team to make sure that Andy could be in competition today. But you guys were talking about kind of the future plans that are going to happening for this team. He's been racing alongside Anthony Bartone in GT4, in the Pirelli GT4 this season. They are looking to expand that out. I'm not sure if they're going to stay in that class, or we might see them in GT3 competition next year, but big plans for this group going forward.
It's cool to hear. Great to hear that chance to step up is there, and that story about GMG helping out.
That is really cool.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's what this paddock is all about. Hard racing on the racetrack, but good camaraderie. It's like things are tightening up a little bit again at the front of this GT4 pack. So you can see Adelson has the lead. Beautiful GT3 cars coming through once again. That's Daskalos. Zipperson's finished second behind George Kurtz in the championship standings. It's a nice solid year for Jason. But look at this, Schwest is really close to Gray Newell now. And this is something that Jason Bell does not want to see, because if Schwest gets around him, there's nothing that Jason Bell can then do. He's too far back.
Yesterday for Schwest, it was all about the defense. He was fending off Seth Lucas to claim his first win of the season and put him in a position to race for the title today. However, it's all about offense this time around. He has to catch Gray Newell and make the pass if he's going to win the title.
He's got his head down. Such a strange scenario for Gray Newell. He's not in this championship fight, but the two drivers that he's kind of sandwiched between are both very much in this fight right now. So Gray Newell is going to be the wild card here in terms of determining who may claim the title here tonight.
Adelson, Newell, Schwest, 1, 2, 3. Porsche, Aston, with 11 minutes to go in the season. So
evenly matched. Both those Astons seem to be a little bit quicker than the Porsche right now.
In the background, next car coming in is CJ Moses, but behind them, that's where you'll find Bell. And Seth Lucas is there. He's closing in, Calvin, and this has major ramifications. Should Lucas get by, it hands the championship back to Schwest.
It does. In that last lap, there was a 2-second difference between these two drivers, so Jason Bell has to get back on the horse. He dug deep, he got around Toledo. Now he's got a bigger problem in the form of Seth Lucas there. Wow, can you believe the different scenarios playing out here in the final 10 minutes of this championship season?
Ross Schwest, you can't sit back and just hope that Seth Lucas makes the move and wins you the championship. You've got to go, right?
You have to go. You really do. He's got to push. Anything can happen here. He is closer than he's ever been right now. He has the momentum. Newell hasn't really shown the aggressiveness to get that lead position. How aggressive will he be in defense now if Schwest really puts the pressure on?
And again, Newell has to know the two cars on either side of him are as desperate as they come. Adelson clinging to his championship hopes by leading. Schwest needs to make the pass to win the title, and Newell is stuck in between them.
Schwest is looking really racy. He's really pushing the threshold of that car's performance right now. Look at that, just inching up through that apex area, really close to Gray Newell as they exit turn 7.
Native of New Orleans, Ross Schwest closing in on Gray Newell. This has everything hanging in the balance. The GT4 championship for GT America, powered by AWS, hinges on this battle right here. Second on the track, but the title up for grabs.
This is turn 12. Just needs to really focus on good, clean lines through here. Squeezing on the power, not asking too much from those Pirellis. Little slip there by Gray Newell.
Will it cost him? Momentum crucial through 13 and 14 up onto the long front straightaway, 5/8 of a mile down to turn 1 of the road course. That gives Adelson some breathing room. Now it's an Aston versus Aston battle into turn 1. Newell still with a sizable gap, but Schwest is starting to close in, and we've got a waving yellow somewhat off here in turn 1. Here is Lucas to the inside of Bell.
Yellow flag though, yellow flag there. Will he have to give it up?
Ooh.
Is the yellow still out? Certainly was on the last shot that we saw, so.
And he could have been withdrawn before these two got there. It looks like the track was clear. Assuming it's all good, Lucas ahead of Bell hands the points lead back to Schwest. Now you got to tell him pretty quickly, hey Ross, dial that aggression back. We don't need it anymore. It sounds like the yellow was pulled by the time that Lucas made the move, so it should be good. Lucas around Bell, Schwest to the points lead, and here we go. Let's take a look and see if we can see the flag. It is pulled.
That is legit. That should be fine. Stewards will certainly take a close look. The consequences are huge as now Gray Newell puts the pressure on Adelson. Schwest is now in prime position to claim the title, sitting in P3. Even though Lucas has a ton of speed, I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch that front 3. As PILGRIM is starting to pull the pressure on. Mirko Schultes for P2 here in GT3. Picking up the draft, flicks it to the inside. Mirko's pretty good on the brakes though. Runs a little bit wide, gave Andy the elbow room there.
Seen that.
Clean racing, very respectful.
Yeah, we've seen that from Mirko all year long. Always aware of the car's position relative to his own. There's plenty of racing room. Adelson, Newell, Schwest, 1, 2, 3. Schwest right now no longer has the motivation to charge. That's interesting. Cutting the chicane was Adelson.
He'll get a warning, but I don't think they'll do anything on that one occurrence there. Mind you, if you got a mulligan in your pocket for one of those other guys, maybe use it on the last lap or two if he gets away with it. It's all about gaining an advantage, and I think he did basically gain a car length there by cutting that chicane.
Ross Schwest started last year racing with a different team, some frustration, so he and his co-driver Aaron Povoleto opted to start their own homegrown organization, Schwest Povoleto Racing. They were immediately quick out of the gate. It's carried into this year, and at the moment, Ross Schwest finds himself in position to be a GT4 champion in just his second season.
Pilgrim to the inside, still not down in there deep enough. That's turn 7 once again. Once that happens a couple of times, you start to gain a little bit more confidence when you're the lead car. Mirko certainly feels even if Andy pokes the Ferrari's nose down in there, you can just swing out a little bit wider and still maintain the track position by the time they get to turn 6.
As Calvin predicted, a warning to Adam Adelson, shortcut at turn 6. Newell is back. He has closed in. He's got to run, and now heading towards a big braking zone for turn number 7 at the end of the Holman Straight.
Got to go for it now. He's got to go for it. This is as good as it's going to get for him.
He looks to the inside. Adelson squeezes him. They make it through cleanly.
Ross, be careful. Be careful. Schwest does not need to get into this right now. As they run, he's got the title.
CJ Moses in the GT2 car, also interposed in this conversation.
Ross Schwest needs some management from the timing stand. Give him the clear picture of where everyone runs right now. But, you know, you think about it, say suddenly Lucas has a problem in the last couple of laps, you'll be kicking yourself if you think I could have maybe got that P2 and secured and sealed the deal. So tough to make the right decision. You never know what's going to happen here in the last couple of laps of this race.
Pilgrim gets the move made, third time's the charm. Around Mirko Schultes for second in GT3. George Kurtz continues to lead by 11 seconds over this duo. But a change for the second spot here in the waning minutes of the 2022 season. Here is George Kurtz, the champion-elect in GT3, seeking a 10th win in this remarkable campaign. Oh, here's Newell. He's got the spot. Gray Newell, the pole sitter, back to the point around Adam Adelson.
Schwest, as they run, doesn't need to do anything to claim the title unless Seth Lucas has an issue. Does he want that safety net of those extra 3 points if he can get around what is now Adam Adelson sitting in second? Gray Newell has had pace all day long. I think he may take off here a little bit. Here we see the move. That's through turns 4 and 5. Clears Adelson. Nice clean race by Gray Newell. This will be the first time he's actually been on the podium all year, I believe.
Correct. Best finish of 4th on 2 occasions. Sonoma race 1, VIR race 2. But he did score his first and only, to this date, win in this series here at this track in the season finale 1 year ago.
Oh, Adelson in the dirt, nearly in the wall.
Boy, and he throws a big block too. Schwest kept his foot in it. He'll scoot around to the outside, up to second. That's a little bit of an extra cushion if he can hang on. There's the reaction from the Schwest Povoleto team. Oh, they're
side by side. Adelson forces the issue. Oh, he gets into him, but Adelson goes around. He's immediately punching that radiator.
And there is a great deal of moisture on the track.
Let's not forget, though, this is going to promote Bell up a position if Adelson cannot finish here.
Okay, a whole new permutation. Pilgrim fighting with Schultes a couple of laps ago into turn 1.
Should still be enough for Schwest. If he finishes second with Jason being promoted to 4th, that's still a 6-point swing. They had 4 points between them coming in.
A valiant effort today from Adam Adelson comes up short. He went from 10th to the lead on the opening lap. A punctured radiator appears to indicate race done for Adam Adelson.
Let's not forget, that car's going to be running a race here in about a couple hours, so they need to get that car back and get it fixed for the GT4 Sprint X competition. Let's take another look at it.
This is desperation late in the season, writ large.
Oh, that left rear, is that still solid on Ross Schwest's car? Did he get cut down? Toledo's stuck in. We could end up under yellow here. This car's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that thing is buried in the kitty litter with just over a minute to go. If it does end under yellow, it's a chance for us to catch our collective breath. Kurtz leads Pilgrim, appears poised for a 10th win on the season in GT3. In GT4, it is still Gray Newell at the point. Behind him, Ross Schwest. Then Seth Lucas and Jason Bell. Jason Bell is not close enough to Lucas to challenge, 2.5 seconds behind. So no imminent chance, at least, for Bell to race his way back up into the points lead.
Schultes to the inside for P2. Late on the brakes, just keeps it together, side by side coming off the turn. Nice clean move, good respect there between the two drivers.
Absolutely.
And he's coming back at him though.
Swings wide in that Ferrari. Schultes to the inside in the Callaway Corvette. We stay green despite the fact that Custodio Toledo is beached in the kitty litter. Incident under review between Schwest and Adelson. The stewards will look at that, so that's another element that needs to play itself out. Defensive line from Schultes as he's trying to hang on, and George Kurtz might be off the pace. These two have closed in. It was just 5 seconds at the line. Mirko Schultes now not just racing for second, but possibly the win.
That's George just ahead of them. Does he have an issue here? Is he just managing the gap here to get to the flag?
George Kurtz, he's already won the title, trying to win race number 10. Schultes looking for his first race win of the year, and Andy Pilgrim looking to get back atop the podium for the first time since Road America. Whatever the problem, Kurtz appears to be back on the pace. He heads through turn 14 to the Art of Bricks for the final time and will take his 10th race win, capping off a championship season in style. Mirko Schultes comes home second, and Andy Pilgrim completes the GT3 podium. Meanwhile, Gray Newell looking for just his second win in his young career, overcoming a massive crash at Road America that caused him to miss the round at Sebring. Back in the race car, back at the point, just as he was in the season finale last year. The final thing to be settled, though, is the GT4 championship. With Lucas ahead of Bell here, that's enough for Schwest to win it. Jason Bell's got to go, and he's got to go now if he's going to have a chance. And Newell is off the pace.
This is going to change things. This is going to change things, but I think it's still going to secure the title for Schwest. It's going to be a bigger points delta here.
Newell suddenly slows. Schwest comes through. Ross Schwest, not just a championship, but a weekend sweep at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. From the back to the front, Ross Schwest from New Orleans. The Schwest Povolato Racing Team up onto the front straightaway, and a perfect way to cap off a championship season, a sweep of the weekend at the Brickyard. Ross Schwest is the GT4 champion in 2022. Seth Lucas comes around to get another point. Jason Bell comes around to get another spot. Newell does coast home, but back in fourth. Nothing, though, can't deny Ross Schwest, the GT4 championship. James Safronis, team owner for Jason Bell, looks on in disgust.
Can't believe what just happened there. What a dramatic final race of the season. Championship positions were changing every moment. West Poblado team celebrates. Marcus Hasselgrove there on the box, making the calls, tuning the car. Great job by that whole group. He now pulls off, trying to get a little bit of that pickup, make the car a little bit heavy, a little bit higher for the post-race tech. Jason Bell, valiant effort. He'll come up just a little bit short, but still a wonderful season for our defending class champion. He'll be gutted.
Hard to imagine anything topping the drama we saw at the end of the Indy 8 Hour last night. After 8 hours and 800 miles of racing, the margin of victory 0.8 of a second. But GT America, as usual, delivered. Just the second year for this series, but it seems that SRO has stumbled onto a great formula. Single driver sprint racing, multi-class racing, targeted towards the gentleman driver with high-quality professional teams running the cars. And the action has been non-stop since the season began in St. Petersburg back in February. Now, the one thing left is the review.
Yeah, but I don't see anything that Ross was involved in. I think if anyone's going to get any penalty, it would be Adelson there.
I agree, but that's the last remaining piece of jeopardy in this season-long battle that came down to the final lap at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Provisional race results. Kurtz, the champion, a 10th win now for the Riley team. Mirko Schultes second, Andy Pilgrim third. Great battle those two had, and great job by Schultes to get that spot back. Then in GT4, it's Schwest picking up a dramatic win. Seth Lucas recovering from a terrible start to get back to second. Two runner-ups to close out the season for the 16-year-old to go with an Indy 8 Hour win. Jason Bell third, but it's not enough. Amanda, let's hear from our GT3 champion.
Boy, finishes the season with 5 wins in a row, 10 wins this season. Finished up the championship in Sebring, and it hasn't been without adversity. You've been able to showcase your talents and skills here all season. How will you define this year for you, George?
Well, I think it was certainly a great year, great team with the switch to Riley and CrowdStrike Racing, and you know, they gave me a great car all season, and we had some ups and downs in some of the other series like yesterday, but we did really well here, and I think we showcased our talents, we showcased the team effort, and you know, it was just a breakout season.
Breakout season indeed, and the number 1 was earned.
Emotion there in his voice, I think.
Yep. It's been a challenging year on the personal front for George, but behind the wheel, it's been one of his best years.
Yeah, I mean, he and Colin Brown are such a great partnership, and I think they've found a great home with Riley Motorsports as well. So much experience there with Bill Riley. They always turn out sharp equipment, and it just suits George. It's been fun again, and it's showcasing with his results.
Look back at his resume from this year. He's going to show GT America champion, class champion at the 24 Hours of Spa, runner-up in Vanatech GT Pro-Am. That is a good year by any measure. Also a great year for Ross Schwest, Amanda.
Oh, and you wait to the last weekend of the season to pick up your first win on the year. It's been consistency all year long that's put you in this position. There are tears in the eyes of your teammates, tears in the eyes of your family. When you took in that last lap, knowing you were a champion, how were you processing it?
It was a lot to take in. You know, I came into the day hopeful, but knew it would take a strong drive for me and a lot of luck. So I got both, and I couldn't be happier. It was a bit of a roller coaster of a season, and to end it this way is just amazing.
Coming into this race this morning, where were you at in your nerves?
Last night was sleeping was kind of difficult. I kept thinking about it. My adrenaline kept pumping. It became very difficult to go to sleep, so I kept trying to distract my mind from it and think about other things, but it became difficult. But now we got this one behind us. We can focus to the next race, but look forward to the off-season and go celebrate.
Your 2022 champion in GT America in the GT4 class, Ross Schwest.
And that's Aaron Povoledo next to him. I love this guy, I think he said, if I'm reading lips correctly. Yeah, for good reason. And they're not done. They've got another race to run in Pirelli GT4 America later on this morning. Boy, Adam Adelson gave it everything he had. That start, unbelievable to get to the front the way that he did. And For a little while, it looked like it might be his day. Just too much pace from Schwest, and Bell took it out of his hands. Ultimately, it came down to Schwest's ability to keep it at the front and Bell's inability to fend off the hard-charging Seth Lucas at the end.
Yeah, as you said, you put it correctly, just a brilliant opening lap there by Adam Adelson to claim the lead. The car came alive very quickly in these cool conditions. He did all he could do. Schwest was in prime position, but it was tricky because you never know what would happen with Seth Lucas if he dropped out of the race. He could give it back to Jason Bell.
Highlights of the final GT America powered by AWS race of the season. GT3 start, followed by the GT4 start. Adam Adelson in that Porsche charging to the front. Great battle here. Bell and Toledo at this point. This put Bell in the championship lead.
He needed that. The crew celebrates, but big moment here.
Great
little twitch there with Newell. But Adelson was going to skip away and grab the maximum points, but then suddenly later in the race, Gray Newell seemed to have the pace all day long. He finally makes it stick, takes off, but then he would suffer heartbreak as well before the checkered flag.
And he would. He knew his chances of winning the title rested on winning the race. He drove with desperation, and it cost him here. A little bit of contact. It ruptures a radiator, race over, and championship hopes evaporated for Adam Adelson. Champion for the year, George Kurtz in the GT3 class caps off the year with a 10th win. Mirko Schultes, Andy Pilgrim completing the podium, and Gray Newell dramatically slowing on the final lap, handing the victory and the title to Ross Schwest in the GT4 class. Newell would creep home in fourth. Seth Lucas would sweep by, as would Jason Bell, who would finish on the podium yet again, but it was not enough to overcome a weekend sweep by Ross Schwest at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Marcus Hasselgrove celebrates, as does the rest of the team.
You are, though, looking at that incident a second time, it's pretty tight there. Schwest definitely understood a little bit wide going through that apex and created the initial contact.
An incredible second season of GT America powered by AWS comes to a close. Thanks to all of you who tuned in over the course of this 2022 season. For Amanda, Calvin, and our entire crew, my name is Ryan Marine. So long from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.